Hello, hello. Test, 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 test. Test, test. Test, test.
How you doing? Oh, you want to take this one?
Hello? Hello?
I have a loud voice, don't worry.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Hello? Hello? All right. So, first of all, of course, thank you so much for being here, for being at Playgrounds Festival. Without all of you guys, this festival would never take place, so thank you so much for making it happen with us. We're really happy to have you here and to be able to have such an amazing couple days with you guys, so thank you. Tonight, for you, special entertainment, we have the Firestarter Community Magazine panel discussions. Yeah, very nice. So for the people that are unaware of Firestarter Magazine, where have you guys been the last year or so? You know, it's so basically this guy called Spiridon wanted to provide a platform for the whole community, our community, the digital art community, all around the world to come together. And he did that in the form of a magazine. And this magazine is really a platform that provides information for all the events that are going on and all the other stuff that brings us as artists together and allows us to make awesome stuff together. And so in their name, in Firestarter's name, we're doing this panel discussion here at Playgrounds. And yeah, let me just start by introducing to you our really awesome panel members. So, first of all, myself, yeah, let's just start with me. Let's just start with the important people at the end, right? That's how it works, right? So I'm Jort. I'm a Dutch concept artist. I work in video games and currently in film. Currently in London, although I officially live in Rome, but yeah, it's just a weird thing. Anyway. Thank you. And then, Mr. Cristian.
Oh, hi. Oh, hey. Right, so welcome to my show. Right, these are my friends. Anyway, I'm currently working as, my name is Cristian Chihaia, but most people know me as Sickbrush because I have an impossible last name. And I currently work for Ubisoft as an art director. So, there you go. Cheers.
I'm Giles, and I'm a freelance concept artist. Thank you. Bye.
Hello. Yeah. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Hello, I'm Emilie Rinna. I'm a concept artist at Creative Assembly.
Hello, is this working?
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of weird last names, my name is Sava Zivkovic. I'm a director at Axis Animation.
You broke up at the end.
Oh, I did? Yeah, just...
What's your last name?
I got choked up. Well, my name is Sava Zivkovic. I'm a director at Axis Animation, and my intro is done.
Hi guys, my name is Finnian MacManus, and I'm a concept artist from the United States now living in London. Freelance.
Hi, my name is Wouter Tulp. I'm a character designer, freelance, currently working for Sony Pictures Animation, and I'm a teacher at Schoolism.
Awesome. So yeah, as you can see, quite a really renowned panel members here. So what we'll do is we start with a couple main themes that we're going to talk about, and then we take questions or themes from the audience that each of these panel members will answer from their own points of view, because it's a diverse group of people here. So I think it could be really interesting to get this discussion going. So we'll take input from the audience. So think about your questions and themes, and then we'll just start on something really easy, which is getting started in the industry. today, 2018? How you would go about it, sort of what you want to...
I don't know, because I did that 13 years ago, so I don't know.
All right. No, how did you get started? How did you get started?
I've been doing this for a while.
No. How did you get started, and like, how does that, you know, how do you see it like these days? What's the evolution?
I don't know. I think it's still the same thing. It's often kind of getting to know some people. Of course, like putting your CV and your portfolio out there, ArtStation, internet, Twitter, Instagram, all that kind of stuff helps. But events like this, where you actually get to meet the people that work, the companies that you might want to work, that is always really helpful. I think that's how I see it.
Yeah, mind if I go? I think nowadays a lot, you know, we all see really similar techniques, styles on ArtStation, on forums, on portfolios, things that people know how to do really, really well, like really nice lighting, really nice composition. I think a lot of what it comes down now to is getting unique ideas and unique design sense, something that people haven't seen before, something that companies will pursue more for the ideas that a person has and can take them to a finish rather than just being able to render the same way as everybody else does. I feel like that's really important to have as an artist in this era, at least.
Yeah, fair enough. What do you think, Cristian, as an art director at Ubisoft, what's sort of the stuff that you look for when you hire new talent?
Well, I think that's a big topic in itself. So basically, it's exactly what you were saying. Everything's like the playing field is different now because for a while, and like 10, 13, maybe 15 years ago, okay, Gilles, everything was different, right? Because people had an edge if they had techniques and if they had powerful computers, if they had software and stuff, and all that is gone because everything's readily available. So right now, it's much easier for anyone to get started. But at the same time, it's much more difficult for anybody to get noticed because they really have to be different. And so I think it's a good thing for the industry because you get an infusion of people coming in. And at the same time, it is more difficult to make out who the really interesting ones are. But when they do, they get instantly recognized. So for me as an art director, usually when I look at portfolios, I'm always looking for people who have that that strange type of extra thing that I don't see every day. I guess that's the word for it. Because especially if you're going through like hundreds or thousands of portfolios, at some point it kind of blends in. So when you're seeing this one guy that does something crazy, like I can remember off the top of my head the last 5 interesting portfolios that I've seen in the last year. So that's just because they had something that really drew my eye, and those are people that I want to talk to and talk about giving them a job.
If I might chime in real quick, from my very limited experience, because I've just been in this industry for 1 year now, exactly 1 year.
You started as a director, though. That's
well, it's a bit different, though. Yeah, but it's just from my kind of observation, similar to what you were saying. Like back in the day where everybody could just draw and there was just one guy who could do like 3D. So he immediately had an edge. But now pretty much every concept artist knows how to do 3D in some form, whether it's just like SketchUp blockouts. So it's really about like getting your distinctive like concepts out in a different way, and it's also about like displaying the ability to not just do concepts but do a bit of storytelling as well and build bigger worlds, not just showcase one image, but like what that image is a part of in a sequence of images, or being able to convey a sequence of events, almost being able to like create your own short films or like storyboards or whatever, something that's a bit bigger than just the concept itself.
Wouter, is that a trend you also see? Like, you teach at Schoolism. Is that something you teach your students, or is that a trend you see amongst your students?
What exactly?
Well, the way they try to stand out and like if you put more focus on technique or on storytelling or on creating like really interesting new ways of generating ideas or to get in or to get jobs.
Well, the course at Schoolism is really a technical course, so it's not so much about the broader thing of getting into the industry. It's really a specific part of character design that I teach there. So I don't really see that over there. But at conventions and stuff, I see a lot of people, mimicking each other. And I think what I hear all of these people saying is that it's a lot about unique ideas. And I think it's important to reference not just the artist you admire that you see right now, but also from the past, or maybe look at things that are not even art related. Look at animals or architecture or things like that. Things from your own life. That is what your personal experience. That's where you get ideas that are unique to who you are and what you have to say about the world or about your vision.
I think the other thing, and that's kind of coming back to what I was saying again before, is that I see a lot of people that that don't have anything on the internet, that don't have any art station, but you see them at the studios, you walk into them and you go like, holy shit, your stuff is amazing. How those people get work is mainly, or as far as I can tell, is networking, is knowing people, but also being a pure delight to work with, which is something that a lot of people don't realize, that the industry can be really stressful and it can be really tough sometimes. And if you're that guy that is nice to work with, then you're always going to be okay. You're going to be asked again. Even if there's someone out there that has a better portfolio, just because you're so much nicer to work with, you're going to be okay. That's what I've seen.
Well, I don't think it's just being nice to work with. I think it's also, are you able to add something to the project, that's not even specifically asked for, but if you can put yourself in the position of the art director or the director and understand what he's looking for, and instead of just doing exactly what you're told, trying to think what does the project need, and how you can be added value to the project, then people want you there because you bring something to the table that they didn't even come up with yet.
Right. I'm actually gonna pick on this. Let's continue this topic because I think it's interesting in a way. I was gonna say that. All right. So a lot of people that I've met here are freelancers, and that's perfectly fine. But in terms of the in-house studio job, I'll confess on camera that apparently that I've hired people. I've chosen to hire people with less technical skill, but with a really awesome mentality, over people that are really good but can't work in a studio environment. So basically what happens is when you enter a studio, whichever your curve of development was up to that point, it's just gonna skyrocket once you're inside, just because you get access to people that have so much experience for so many years. I mean, I went to Ubisoft and I found people that have my age and experience, and it's crazy. So when you get in there, you just skyrocket in skill. And basically that tells me that it doesn't matter if you're not entirely ready at this point, because you will be in a very short amount of time, as long as you have the proper attitude. And I think attitude is something that we can talk about, whether it's for freelancers, whether it's for people working full time. So what do you guys think about the proper attitude to have, and like the I guess the good practices for people?
Take it away, Finn. I put you on the spot right now.
Yeah, sure. In the times I've worked in studios, I think that in terms of people who are senior, what I've heard people say is that they're looking in the senior artist someone who is willing to share their knowledge with juniors and to help people improve in the team. Like my experience, the first studio I started at, I was really, really bad. Like, I'm surprised they took me as an intern, and they taught me a lot while I was there. And I think having people on the team that are all willing to share and pool their ideas and collaborate together, but also bring unique experiences to the table. Like, they're not people that follow the normal trends, but people who like to experiment and push ideas, and will be able to bring even a unique mindset to the project, and actually inspire the other people around them is really important. Because when you're working in a team on something and there's a deadline that hits, you want people around you that will continue to push you to go farther. You don't want someone that's going to add negative energy. You need someone to really like carry everybody and to help each other out. So I think people who are positive, that have a strong work ethic, that are there to support each other, that's like really the golden person to have on your team.
When I went freelance a couple of years ago, I don't know if that's even a real thing, but I call it the studio prima donna. It's that thing that you're so comfortable working in a certain environment and people dealing with your bullshit that you don't realize that you are actually kind of a diva. Like kind of a prima donna when you leave that studio, because you're like, no, I'm not doing this shit. Get somebody else to do it. You get away with it for some reason, or at least I did, apparently. I'd go like, no, that's something that a junior should do. I'm too senior for this. I've actually said that. And
do we have to record this?
Giles, I have no problem imagining you doing that though.
and it's like eating a massive piece of humble pie when you're a freelancer and your client doesn't come back to you for more work, because you're like, that dude's incredibly difficult to work with. What a total dick. Like, he was like, yeah, this is the best shit, you better take this. And like, I was way too overconfident when I came out of the studios and went for myself. And it was only after talking to a good friend of mine, Dave Neal, who's been freelancing forever. And I was like, how do you get people to come back to you? Like, for work? And he was like, yeah, I'm just a nice guy. I just like people.
Oh, that's how they do it.
People sent me an email and go like, hey, really liked working with you last time. Are you available? I was like, I've never had that. And it was that moment that I went, oh, crap, I'm still in that studio mentality of like, yeah, well, take it or leave it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, but Giles, like, you got away with it, but generally speaking, in a studio, you wouldn't want to have people like that, right?
No, and that's probably, they were quite happy to see me go as well.
Yeah, I mean, Emilie, you work at Creative.
I'm trying to not think about that.
Yeah, no, Emilie, you work at Creative Assembly, right? Do you have any divas like Giles, or?
Well, that's where I left, so.
Not quite like Giles.
No, I'm not sure I want to do
Fair enough, we're a camera,
it's recorded. But I just want to bounce back on what Finnian and Cristian said. Because, so I started a bit less than 4 years ago in the industry, and I got my first internship when my portfolio was clearly not the most amazing ever, but I got recruited because at the time I was showing stuff that was a bit different compared to what people were doing, and that I was also showing my concept that I was really interested in developing ideas. It was not just like a one-off, you know. I was interested about deeper things in the concept, and that showed that I could work in a team quite well. I was able to explain my stuff. My rendering was shit, like literally. But what my art director really appreciated was my ideas and where I was going with. So that got me my first internship, and after that I never had to worry about getting a job, because I just kept being hired for that, actually. My ideas and my way of explaining them, and make sure that the team, when I say the team, it's like design, animation, the riggers, or whatever the people you're going to work with when you're in-house, they've got to understand where you're concepting, and that's a really important skill to have, and it's actually quite rare. It's a bit weird because recently I've been on the other side of the recruitment, and we've got a lot of portfolio, and there's a lot of amazing stuff. And then when you get to meet those people and you're asking them questions about their choices, they're not able to explain. And I'm like, well, that's not how it works in a studio. You should be able to justify whatever you've put in the picture, stuff like this, because people are going to work from that, and they've got to understand to get the feel right and makes everything work. So that's something you need to keep in mind when you're building your portfolio. You can't just like throw cool stuff there, because to be honest, everybody can do cool stuff. That's not difficult, but not everybody is able to do thoughtful things. And this is a super important skill to have. It's really rare. So if that's something you enjoy doing, just focus on that. For sure you're gonna get a job at the end.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Speaking of making cool stuff, what do you guys feel about like your talk today, Finnian, was awesome, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
And I love talks that revolve around design because I feel like it's becoming a lost art, and it shouldn't be. So speaking about making really cool stuff, what do you guys feel about? How do you guys feel about, like, you know, there's a huge influx of concept art that's not actually concept art. How do you guys feel about that from your perspective?
Just before we go into that, if there's any questions from the audience, just raise your hand and I'll come to you, okay? Oh, we have one in the back, actually.
I would just like you to clarify that question. I'm not exactly sure what it is you're referring to.
This question here?
Yes.
So it's basically the use of illustration and then labeling it concept art, but it's not really concept art.
Or do you mean like non-functional concept art, like more like not overly specifically designed stuff?
Yeah, what I mean is, okay, so I'll be very specific then. Cheers. Basically what I'm talking about is sometimes in concept art portfolios you get a lot of pieces that are extremely well done and they would look awesome in your living room, but they don't serve the purpose that they have. Does that make it clear? Right, cool.
Well, my opinion on that, it would be just, does it work for the project? Like if this project is set in a realistic world where everything needs to have meaning and function, it obviously needs to have like proper functionality. But if it's more of a fantasy world, and I'm not like talking about Star Wars that has a bit of a mechanical feel to its props, but more like, I don't even know, Guardians 2, for example, the spaceship of Chris Pratt's dad, like it's fairly abstract, right? But like for that world, it kind of works. So I don't really need to know like how the engines work or what's the function with the landing gear.
So
I think that
was
was
disbelief.
No, I think that what you're referring to is that something that I believe as well. You got concept art and you got concept design, and what you're saying that you see on Instagram or ArtStation is a lot of concept art, but you don't see concept design. You don't see the functional, the actual day-to-day kind of.
Giles, about that though, because I just want to like morph the question a little bit, because I think it's a really important issue. Like the problem I see is that we have a lot of stuff that's really marketable, and this is the concept art, and there's just a lot of stuff that's really useful, which is the concept design, which nobody really wants to look at on ArtStation, right? It's not something you want to look, but it's the stuff that's more useful. So is that actually a problem? Because people that are really good at design might not be so good at art, therefore they don't make the marketable stuff, maybe don't get hired, but then because they don't post, you see what I'm getting at? Like the art stuff, the non-usable stuff gets all the views, right? But then the usable stuff doesn't get any views and don't get noticed. I think that's a bit of a problem maybe, or am I completely wrong?
I'm going to take a chance at your original question and say that.
Sorry.
No, you are. You're all right. No. Sorry.
I'll leave.
I didn't mean that. No. Come on. No, I had a thought in my head that I wanted to bring out since you asked the original question. And let's say, for an example, there exists a painting of a beautiful landscape that is somewhere that we could physically, it's so similar to real life that we could physically go to a place in real life and look at this landscape. It serves basically the same functions design-wise as a photo that you can take. So that if you were to illustrate that and call it a concept design piece for like a game or a film, it doesn't serve more than what a function of a photograph would serve. So is that what you would define as concept art that's not concept art? Okay, so I think there's a prevailing theory that a lot of people that get into the industry have is that they see either successful artists or illustrators doing a lot of that stuff, maybe in their spare time, maybe these guys are doing it for fun, or maybe they're finding some monetary way to do it. But students will see that, they see that and they say, oh, if this person can make a living doing this, this is what I need to learn and do. So they'd spend all their time learning how to make just a pretty picture without any meaning or design or thought behind it. And so that is the issue we're talking about here. Yeah, so yes, that happens a lot, and I think what we originally talked about of how it's harder to find jobs now unless you focus on design, I think that could be a good thing for the industry because it will bring back the true design and what is interesting to us, what makes us feel different things and think a different way. And I see people doing that a lot online with art that isn't exactly useful in a production pipeline. And I don't really know exactly how to reverse it. I think that if someone is doing that and they love to do it, do we have any role in telling them to stop doing it? You know, that's something interesting too, right? Because I wish there's a way that could always be marketable for artists too. Like if someone were to come to me and say, this is my portfolio, I love doing this, I think you have a certain leeway to say, okay, this isn't exactly marketable, let's change it like 10% so it is marketable. But not enough so that you lose like your true passion and love what you're doing. So hopefully that isn't like completely distorting what you were saying, but.
It's not, it's great, thanks.
That's a pretty good suggestion, actually.
Yeah, and we need both anyway in the industry. We need designers, but we need also like amazing guys can do like crazy cool pictures because we need to sell the project, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. So, any themes from the audience? Stuff you'd like to discuss? We had some questions this afternoon at some of the talks about rates or what were some of the other stuff, Giles? We had quite a cool discussion going, right? Is there anything you guys would like to answer the panel? Or ask the panel, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please answer us.
Can you talk about money?
Money.
I mean,
What about money?
I think we can all agree
Gerben,
there's no
do
money.
you want us to talk about?
There's, from my personal experience, there's a lot of difference between in-house jobs and freelance jobs and the pay rate and difference between them. Then also within freelance, there's people who hardly get by and there's people who make loads of money within one day. And can you talk about your personal experience in that and maybe share some insights and all the stuff we should maybe watch out for when you negotiate contracts and stuff like that?
That's a big question, man.
Is this for you?
Thank you, Gerben. It's Gerben Pasjes. He's awesome.
It's a difficult one because I know there's a camera rolling. Yeah. And you don't really want to discuss numbers because that will make some people feel amazing, some people really terrible. It's like if I talk about what I charge, then that becomes something that you judge my work on, and I don't think that's really valuable right now for the discussion. But
let's talk priorities then, maybe.
no, but then Ben Maurer once put on his website a list of what he sees as kind of like a fee that is fair for the work that you do. And he judges it from freelance to in-house. And to by large, I actually follow that guide to an extent. And you should look it up, because I'm not going to repeat the numbers there, because I don't actually remember them exactly.
I think it's about between 500 and $1,000 per day.
I thought it was less than that, but it's, yeah, something around that. It's dollars, and of course the industry is different in the US than it is here, and so you can't really convert those numbers exactly. But it kind of roughly comes down to that. I think what it really comes down to is that you feel that what you're doing is your time and your effort is being kind of rewarded. Like it's worth your time, it's worth your effort. Sometimes you work on a project that you absolutely love, but you get less money for it. I don't think that's a bad thing to do. Like some people will tell you, oh, don't work for that little money. Yeah, sure. If you're going under minimum wage, fuck off. Don't do work for free. Don't work for friends unless you're working on a business, or family. All that, those kind of things still go for me at least, because it always causes trouble. But that's my
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, first of all. I think there comes an issue where when artists that are new to the industry, maybe there's a producer or someone that's working in film that offers them a low rate for a big blockbuster title. Say, in this case, I know, like maybe 3 or 4 people were working on a Marvel title for $200 a day of work that were producing work for 10 hours straight a day. And I know for the fact that the person that was paying them for that was getting 1,000 per day for each of the artists. And the issue with accepting a job like that is that it hurts the rest of the industry for all of us. Because it means that then people, the producers, everybody that's hiring artists see it as an opportunity to take advantage of the other concept artists that are getting into the industry, the people who maybe are not experienced to make the calls for themselves, and it actually hurts the rest of the community. So I know it's extremely tough to say no to like a job. It's like that's the issue, the fundamental issue is like when you're starting out, you have an opportunity to work on this big credit, and maybe you don't get paid much, but the people that accept that work, it also potentially damages. I'm not going to tell people not to take it because obviously you want that, but there's an issue with how it affects everybody too.
I think you make a perfectly valid point. Also, as an Eastern European, it's really difficult for me to agree. And I'll explain why, just so I don't just drop it like that. So when I started out, my first gig was $25 for 4 weeks of work. And that was amazing money. And basically, did they take advantage of me? Obviously. Did I take advantage of them taking advantage of me? Hell yes. And what I mean by that is, I have a saying is, I'll always get my money's worth. And what I mean by that is, I've done gigs for huge names that paid me and treated me like crap. But once I did it, I had that name in my portfolio, and that fed me the next gig, which was better paid, which fed me the next one, which was better paid, and I was better treated. And so it was basically a ladder that I had to go through, right? And especially starting from, my position somewhere in the butt of Europe, I had to kind of take those steps because I had no access to the bigger ones. But even though I did those things and I was kind of taken advantage of in that sense, I still got my money's worth later. And sometimes you'll have a project like, I'll give you this very quick story, not to take over, but I'll give you this quick story. These guys sent me an email a couple of years ago, and it was like the most heartfelt email, one of the most heartfelt emails I ever got. It was like, dude, we really love your work. It's really cool. We have it around in the studio. It's like really beautiful. We probably can't pay you as much as we should, but we're doing the small car game, and we'd love for you to illustrate it. And I was like, oh, damn, I really want to do it now. They hooked me. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And it was like, I think it was like $500 for like an entire, 15 cards, and like the instructions and the box and everything. So it's obviously, it's a very low paid job. But I was like, yeah, I'll do it. What happened was we did it. They did a Kickstarter. It went through, and I think 1 or 2 years later, they just wired me like $3,000, and they were like, "This is just to say thanks, because you kind of did it for us." Not to say this happens, right?
Super rare.
Because it's one of those, but obviously, what I mean by that is sometimes you will still find ways to get your money's worth in the end. So you just have to be smart about what you decide to work on.
Well, I'm not good at taxes, so I hire a bookkeeper. I'm not good at doing business, so I have a representative doing business for me. And for me, that's a solution. Of course, I need to pay this person to do this, but I want to spend my time being creative, creating my art, and not to worry about this. And in the end, I'm the one who decides, whether I want to do this or not. But for me, this is a way that works, so that I know it's someone who I can trust, and it gives me, I make a living, I'm doing well. So for me, that's, I haven't heard that solution yet, so I thought I might add that.
Yeah, get an accountant. That's definitely, if you're freelancing.
Accountants for sure. Yeah.
Oh man, you're gonna screw yourself over if you don't.
Just a quick.
But I think it's also important to note. I mean, Christian's story points this out as well. Like, success isn't financial success, right? I mean, being happy isn't financial success either. Because as long as you can, get by, right?
Right.
Right?
I was gonna pick up on
No?
something. No, yeah,
You're
definitely.
you pick up people in your Mercedes?
No, I was just. I don't have a fucking Mercedes, man. I was just gonna pick up on something Gilles mentioned earlier, like don't work for friends, don't work for family. Like, yeah, that goes to like a certain extent where it's like your buddy from school asking you, oh, let's do an animation from a little website. But there's a whole other point in working with friends, and that's like, I mean, that was like,
Yeah, you have a different.
that was the crux. Yeah, but that was the crux of my talk, and that was like working with friends who are from similar industries and working together towards similar goals for free, doing each other's favors can actually be massively beneficial, and that's why I'm here today. And it goes like vice versa. Like for example, Sean is a very good friend of mine. He actually did the sound for the Firestarter opening. He's a sound designer and composer, and we worked on pretty much every personal project together ever. He didn't have to do that. Like we did it for the fun of it, but it eventually led to us working together on Access projects now. So like the latest trailer at Access that I completed, he scored it. He did the score for it. So, and that was all coming off of like free collaborations and free personal work that we did together. So there's a huge point to be made there as well.
Yeah, but you worked with someone, and that's kind of it's kind of small, but
yeah.
In the past, family members were like looking for an illustration or a portrait or stuff like that, and then you're too busy doing other stuff, and then they go like, "Why doesn't he have time to do this?" But he posted something on Facebook.
Giles, how many tattoos did you design for your friends?
None, but I've been asked a lot. So it's like,
Who got asked to design a tattoo for one of his friends? Hands. There we go. There we go.
I have another one.
Half the room. Good.
how many were asked to do a
dogs?
portrait of a family member?
Portrait?
Portraits?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of portraits. Yeah. There we go.
Or an ugly baby. There, I said it. Okay, so there are any other questions from you guys? Just let's do it.
Is the question going to be, can you stop so we can get drinking?
You see how masterfully
They
we
can get
avoided
drinks.
the
They
money
can get
question.
drinks anytime. Mr. Max Berman.
Oh. Oh no.
There's no You don't need to be worried.
Is it about Sava doing a dance on stage?
I would love to see that.
If you say my last name right. No dancing for you, buddy.
I'd love to know from each of you what your goals are right now.
That's a very nice question.
Right now, as in right now, or as in like.
All right. I saw someone probably on YouTube, some kind of like hippie inspirational video that said, "Don't make goals, make promises," and that totally changed my idea of like looking at what my future is going to look like. And sorry?
You're avoiding the question.
No, it's not, because
Masterfully as well.
what it comes down to is that you have a goal to one day be like a bodybuilder. Well, that's great, but you know how you're going to get there and all that kind of stuff. But if you make a promise, then you say, I'm actually going to be a bodybuilder. It's not a goal. It's not something I'm striving to. No, I'm actually going to do this. So
That's
in that
a
case,
bullshit answer, man. Come on.
Oh
Jesus.
man, I thought I got away with it.
Let's just go to Finian.
Right, let's go. Finn, what do you want to do?
Let's just go to the Wonder Child.
Okay. Come on.
This is not fair in any way, but for me personally, I would love to, within the next few years, be able to make my complete living wage off of my own work without working for other people. So whether that be through books, through publishing, through Patreon, through some way, I want to not have to work for any client unless it's something that I'm going to die unless I do. That's for me, what I'd like to do.
Sounds pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
What about you?
I want to create another schoolism course, and I think it's not I have a plan on doing a book on character design as well.
What kind of course? Or is that secret? It can be secret.
No, it's about the conceptual part of character design. So the thought process that goes into it.
Very short-term goals for me. I want to have more of these. A bit more longer-term goals, but still kind of short-term. Want to finish my next short film sometime next year. And then probably longer-term goals would just go into longer format, possible shows. Features would be nice, but eventually.
What about you, Jort?
Good one.
It's the same question.
So here's the thing, right? No, I'm working on my first thing in film right now, and I'm really enjoying it. So I would love to do more of that. Also, I'm really jealous of all those people that are working at X's right now, and like you get to work with Paul Canavan and all that. So I would love to be able to work.
It's fun though.
No, I would love to be able to work on a big or professional project with friends in such a manner. That's something that I would love to do in the next 3 years.
You're welcome anytime, buddy.
Yeah, no. John says that all the time, and then I'm like, why don't you hire me? It's like,
do this now?
Well, you do have to apply though.
Do you want to swap contacts?
Yeah, no, but I would really love to work with friends. I worked with some really awesome people when I was at Guerrilla Games doing my internship with Donar. Is Donar here?
No.
Shadi?
Oh, Donar's not here. No, but that was great. Just with friends that I still work with. So those are my goals.
So far, I've only been working on video games, and I'd love to work on movies, mostly because when I do concept, I really focus on having works, and I'd love to see those kinds of being built. Every time I watch like a behind the scene from Adam Savage or with our workshop, I'm so super excited to see all these things like weapons or vehicles and everything being built and being very functional. They can work. Okay, but having to work on something that then becomes tangible, that's my goal next time.
All right, so my serious answer is to one day create my own game studio properly, put out my own IPs, put out my own content, be my own boss in that sense. Yeah.
I swear to God, if you don't call me. Right. So, is there anybody under 18 here? All right. I'm going to publish a series of books for children and for adults, even if it fucking kills me. That's what I want to do.
Amen. Yeah, no, I would love to do a children's book as well. Actually, I've been writing one, so. No, I'm serious. Really? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. No.
We can do.
I do more than spaceships. Yeah.
We can do the children thing together.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. No. I'm serious. I did.
Go ahead, Paulina.
I'd like to see that.
Cool.
Speaking of children,
It just disappears from the floor.
I need to do that hero landing, right?
speaking of children, I know that most of you don't have any, but I would like to know if any of you have children, and if not, if you plan to do so, and how you plan to implement it, to combine it with your
How we plan to
success story.
make that.
I have a project timeline for that. I mean,
Pipeline.
I just proposed, so we're kind of in alpha at this point. Oh, thank you. But no, seriously, I think the question for children about the question about children for me goes back to his question about money. So not yet. Maybe later.
I would love to start a family within the next 3 years. Actually, I'm getting married next year. So
congratulations, bro.
My fiance knows this. Don't worry. I told her. Yeah. No, but all of my colleagues and we work on film. We work long hours, and they all have children, and it's hard because it's in London, so lots of commutes in addition to a 10-hour workday. And the way they do it, actually, they all have nannies. It's horrible. But my manager, my production designer, his wife doesn't work, so she stays at home with the kids until they're old enough to. Yeah, it's just a hard one. But you have to, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say we're in the same boat. Like the three of us just recently got engaged. Not the three of us, but
yeah. He's hiding in the dark. He's hiding in the dark, but Leon as well.
Yeah, well, we have Leon Lyon soccer as well. No, but I'm in a slightly different position because I do work from home. So I do mostly work from home. So it's kind of easier, I guess. I still don't know. I'll tell you in like a year or two. But it is kind of more advantageous position being able to work from home.
I think just realized I'm probably the oldest guy on stage.
Yeah.
I have a 10-year-old son, and he's awesome. So.
Finnian is actually 53.
I just want an answer from one other guy here in the room. You want to go on this?
Kids never been on my bucket list.
Cool. Stijn, do you mind answering the question as well?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Stijn.
The Rock.
Stein.
Okay, so for me, I work from home as well, and I think that's kind of the key, because I would never do that thing in London with the nannies and stuff. Why would you have kids if you can't see them?
Yeah, man.
Fuck that.
Thumbs up for that.
But working from home, I see my kids every day. When you're working, they just stumble into your studio. You can ask them for advice, because at one point you're going to be old and they know what's cool and you don't really know anymore. And it's really fun, and it's also very inspiring. So that's good.
Thank you.
On the other hand, you have no sleep left whatsoever.
Awesome, thank you, man. All right.
Yeah. So I just asked Stijn because he's a freelance artist and also a teacher, and he brought his son with him last time in April here to Playgrounds, and he met Moby Frank, and it was really awesome. So they were just drawing and stuff. So that was a really cool moment.
Hello, I'm a working mum in London, and I have a nanny. Who is an illustrator, so he works at home, and then he looks after my kids in the afternoon. My partner is an editor. He gave up work for 2.5 years to let me go back to work with my second child. So are you prepared to give up your careers for your partner to continue with theirs? Until we do that, we don't really get any equality. And as a producer, I'm very insistent that if a parent's child is ill, then the dad goes home as much as the mum goes home. You know, it's not equal.
Okay.
You have to earn some money though, so like I think you have to make a decision, as a couple, right? I mean, either parent can go home. I don't think that's really a problem. You just have to make a decision. That's my opinion on it. I mean, my mom always went home, but if so, they were my parents were divorced, but I'm sure like if they were together and my dad was like going home, that wouldn't be a problem either. Yeah.
My dad went and got cigarettes when I was 12. He still hasn't come back.
I'm sorry, man.
No. I'm kidding. It's actually true, but I'm kidding. Anyway, no, but seriously, I feel like not to sort of. Name drop or anything, but my girlfriend also works for Ubisoft, and she's the smart one in the family, so to speak. I just draw pretty stuff, hopefully, and she's the smart one. And I feel like either of us could take a backseat for a while to support each other's careers, equally. I feel like that should be the case in any relationship, in any industry. It doesn't matter what you do. You kind of you want your partner to be the best they can. So I feel like that really wraps it up.
I think we should ask Borja. He just told me he has 6 kids. So
what?
Borja?
Tell me how you do it.
Thank you, Wouter. Yeah, without the help of my wife, we never could have done that. But in several,
Fair enough.
That works that way, yeah. And I think that was our choice. We wanted a big family. We both come from big families in Spain, and we really, when we got married, we always just wanted to have a big family. So it's not that you think of work and then you think at how much spare time my work is going to leave me to have kids, is that you want to have kids, and then you adapt yourself to raise your kids up. It's pretty much just thinking of the life you want to live, and then you just work for it. And I work as a man. Since kids, they're difficult to raise up and it's expensive, but it's a great family. I wouldn't change that. So thank you.
Thank you
it's
so
possible.
much. Thank you.
I just want to say one more thing, and that's just for the single, non-wanting people, children wanting people wanting what? Anyway,
What?
I don't want to
English,
have kids. My work, my art, that's my life. I'm really sorry. It's really egotistical of me, maybe not to care about that part of life, but I just want to spend most of my time working on what I like to do best, and that's not looking after children. That is doing my art. I do enjoy spending time with kids of my friends and my family, but I'm really glad that they fuck off after a while. And then I can go back and draw and paint all night, and nobody's judging me and asking me to change their diapers or anything. So that would be hell for me, but I understand for a lot of...
How many children do you know? Like,
Can you please change my diaper, Daddy?
Please care for me, Giles.
sorry.
Please care for me.
They don't ask. They go,
Adopt me, adopt me.
So, thank you all for
Okay,
being
that
a
was
part
my
of
input.
this industry panel. No, really.
Good question,
Any
yeah.
other questions? Please.
How many cats do you guys have?
How many what?
How many cats do you have? No, seriously. Do you guys sometimes have a bad self-esteem, and what do you do about it? How do you get rid of it? What are your techniques?
Thank you. Let's talk about the imposter syndrome, boys. Let's do it.
Woo!
Okay, you're a teacher.
I'm an imposter.
How do you feel? No, I'm just kidding. Like, I think it's a serious issue. I think most of us have it. And okay, can we do a really quick show of hands? How many people have been to another workshop before of this?
What was the question?
How many people have been to any other workshop, or it could be this one, like.
Like the event?
Any other event? Have you done any other events except for...
Who has
Alright,
been
there
to
we go.
another workshop than this one? Yeah, everyone been to more workshops? All
And
right.
this one as well, but like before. So what I'm saying is, do you know the post-workshop blues? Where you go back home and you start feeling depressed because you miss everybody, because it was such an awesome experience.
Depends whether you were there, man. It's just...
No, but really, it's kind of the same feeling in a way, because it's your belonging, but at the same time you feel like you don't belong there. So it's a very fine line, and I feel like everybody has something to contribute, no matter what the level that they're at. And I always find something super interesting and awesome in anybody's work, regardless of the level. So everybody has something to contribute to the whole thing. And yeah.
And everybody feels sort of down at one point. I don't know if you saw Finnian's talk today, but he kind of put it perfectly, where you don't rely on motivation, you rely on your discipline. Yeah, I totally just stole that from you. But it's actually that's what you need to do. Is just like if you're what you. I'm just gonna let you say it because you said it, and you said it way better than I'm gonna say it.
No, not at all. No. What I was saying earlier was that motivation is something where if you start to feel bad about yourself, you start to feel bad about your work, it's something that's not going to be there for you. It'll disappear. But if you rely on discipline, it's something that you can always go back to. If you have strong discipline, strong work ethic, you can get back up and paint again. And there's been a lot of times in my life when I felt absolutely terrible, depressed, not happy with how my situation is. And I think, first of all, relying on friends to ask advice for is really important. Don't be afraid to go to a therapist. I've been to a lot of therapists. I'll freely admit it. And also just, I found that painting my way out of it can help sometimes. I think that when you go and start to work, there's that moment between where you get the when you get the idea to start painting and you don't actually do it. As long as you can get past that moment and actually start making something again, that's always been the moment where I can kind of put everything I've been thinking of behind me and start to really practice my craft again and feel better. That's just for me.
I definitely agree with that one. It's always, well, in my case, whenever I fell down, it would just be, the easiest way would just be like brute force it and just kind of push your way through that wall.
Yeah.
And the way to kind of do it for me is just do something simple. So if like, I mean, I'm not a painter, I do 3D stuff, but I would just like model something very simple that I can finish and see the end result from start to finish fairly quickly. So if you're a painter, you just paint like a very simple thing, but actually got it to a finished state. So that kind of gives you a bit of a boost, I guess.
Yeah, I used to have this imposter syndrome because when I was looking at people's portfolio, I was like, this guy is much better than me and he's looking for work while I'm actually working in house. So this why am I there when this guy is still looking for work? But well, for me that somehow kind of disappeared with experience, where I can see that okay, yeah, people are much better than me at certain things for sure, but the people who recruited me know where I'm good at and why I'm part of the team, because I can do some stuff that other people are a bit less good at. So it's just balance that you need to find. Of course, you're never going to be the best in any in every disciplines, but if you've been recruited for something, it's because you're good at that thing, and that's okay not to be perfect on every level. So when you start realizing this, I think the imposter syndrome somehow disappears or gets lower and less important for you in your life.
I thought with working from home, it's much easier to kind of get that feeling, that really dark place that you start to go to where, well, at least for me, it was, yeah.
Where do you live?
Brighton.
Yeah, the
Brighton.
UK, thanks. Yeah, it's a great place right now.
On the beach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice, yeah.
It's lovely.
UK beach, so depressing.
Yeah. No, but it's just, I think last year, somebody said, if you're not getting the jobs you want, then you're not good enough for those jobs. And I was like, yeah. And then I came home and it just went, oh, yeah. I've applied at so many places and I've sent out CVs and portfolios to all these places and I'm not getting anything back. I still get hired for other stuff, but it's not the stuff that I put my effort into. And that really threw me into some really dark places and really big holes that I had to climb out of. And friends, going into studios again, working with teams instead of just sitting at a desk really helped. Getting feedback from people, just, it wasn't easy, and I'm still not quite over that idea of like, yeah, not everything is coming my way, but there's never going to be someone really that's going to just offer you what you really want. You're going to have to work for it. So that's what I'm trying to do now again.
Yeah, it's being a freelancer is terrifying, man. Like, it's absolutely terrifying. I started freelancing a year and a half ago. For the first 3 months, I had nothing, right? Like, nothing. I was applying everywhere, and it still is terrifying. Like, I'm working for HBO right now. You'd say, like, all right, so he's doing well, like, he's all good. I'm terrified. Every night I go back, like, to home, I'm terrified that they might fire me the next day. Seriously. Like, it's fucked up, but it's just the way it is. And then, yeah, you just have to deal with it. And having friends around is really good, and having a partner around is really good as well. Someone who can just support you, and
friends will tell you that even if you do get fired from your HBO job, there's 5 more jobs waiting for you. So,
yeah, I know it sounds stupid, right? I know but I'm just being honest here. Like, yeah. So yeah, I guess we have that a lot. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think the imposter syndrome occurs when you have a job somewhere where you're among people who you admire and you feel you don't belong there, right? So if you don't have the job yet, there's nothing to impose.
And nothing to lose, maybe.
No, so it's really about comparing yourself to others. And you know, when we do that, you know, you compare yourself. You know, when I suddenly got to work for a big studio, I was working with people I admired, and suddenly I was in the meetings with them, and like, whoa, and it's really easy to feel like, you know, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. But if you say that, you're also saying that the guy who hired you, you know, doesn't know what he's doing. And you can trust that that guy knows what he's doing if he hires all those other people that you admire so much. And also I know that I do the best work when I'm in that place where, you know, where I was as a child, just happy, like, wow, cool, I'm just trying stuff without thinking about it, whether it's good enough, but just, you know, living in that world that I'm creating. So I try to go to that place and not to compare myself, but just to enjoy what I'm doing and to move away from looking at what others are doing. And the other thing is, because I still work with people who I think are much better than I am, but I really try to learn from them, and in that way I'm really thankful to be in that place where I get to see all this artwork from people that I admire, and I get to study it, and I try to mimic their style or to adapt to what they're doing. So you know, and to, you know, to really move away from comparing yourself, because it's not useful for me, you know. And I was thinking when you were mentioning that you felt depressed, I thought, you know, that's only important to you, because somebody else just sees you as the same person, and it doesn't matter if you know, if they meet you one day and you're happy about what you're doing, and the other day you're all worried if you're going to lose your job. You know, it's only in your mind. So, you know, just focus on the work itself and the exact problem you have to solve right now, and that's where the answer is. You just need to get to work and have fun.
Cool. All right. As with all good things, time really flies with this panel discussion. So we've spent an hour on this, so I think it's time to wrap it up. We can continue these discussions over a beer, you know, amongst each other. We're all just part of a one big community, right? So no need to just, you know, keep it to the stage. So thank you guys all for coming. We're going to do another one tomorrow night. And of course, there's another full day of playgrounds tomorrow. So thank you very much.